All right, so please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Marquita Hutchins. I have a son that's currently in the Fulton County Jail who is currently not getting the proper medical treatment. He has a gunshot wound that's a centimeter from his heart. I spoke with Sheriff Labat and also the head doctor Henchman. When I spoke to him recently, my son is currently diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. And like I said previous, he has a bullet that's a centimeter from his heart. When I spoke with Labat and Henchman on the same day, they told me that they was gonna move him to a medical ward step down. The day after, Henchman called me back and told me that they could only move him to a mental health floor, which would be more dangerous than where he's at now. Told me if they move him, he would have to fight in the mental health ward. He came there from the hospital. They haven't did any follow-up medical treatment with the cardiac thoracic surgeon, or they wasn't giving him the proper diet. They was giving him 4 juices in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and nothing in between for lunch because he was on a liquid diet. They're supposed to take him up to a high protein diet now. One doctor said he was approved. The next day, another lady came and seen him and said she has to see if he meet the requirements. So they currently keep telling both of us two different things.
A question. What is he in there for?
His charges,
Yes, ma'am.
he His charges are 6 aggravated assaults, possession of a firearm, criminal damage to property, and reckless conduct,
So he's schizophrenic?
and bipolar.
Was he under treatment before?
Well, when they took him into custody, he was in ICU for the gunshot wound that's unrelated to his charges. And before all this, he was diagnosed with mood disorder, dysregulation, and ADHD. So the schizophrenic is what they diagnosed him with in the ICU.
Have you made any official complaints or anything like that? Or
Yes, I actually lost my job going down there. I filed complaints with internal affairs. No one has contacted me back.
try going to the feds?
I've been contacting the DOJ, and I tried contacting they told me to call ombudsman for the jail, but they don't return your phone calls.
Okay. Do you have a lawyer or any legal representation?
Yes, he has a lawyer.
Have you talked with his attorney?
Yes, his attorney told me to retain a civil lawyer because his rights are being violated at this point.
I notice that's a trend. People don't handle civil and criminal. That kind of that's something I'm not used to. But okay, if you attempted to contact a civil lawyer or somebody that takes
Yes,
civil cases,
I contacted the state board. The state board just keeps telling me to contact ombudsman. The few lawyers that I did reach out to that I contacted, no one returned my phone call.
well, they tend to be interested in making money. But I'm surprised this criminal lawyer won't touch the civil aspects of it. I mean, he doesn't have to file a lawsuit, but I mean, he could make inquiries since it's his client and his client is in jail. According to what you're saying, suffering a wrong that follows from the criminal charges against him. So I don't understand. But anyway, that's something else.
So, Sheriff
Well,
Labat, what is so the violations? Because your son is in Fulton County Jail right now,
Correct.
and what are the specific violations that Sheriff Labat is doing, violating your son's rights, his United States citizens' rights?
Well, one, he's not getting the proper medical treatment he needs to receive. They haven't took him back to any follow up appointments from him being a gunshot victim. They're not giving him his proper diet, and they're not giving him any treatment. Like, they just told him that they're not going to treat the mental health at all.
And before he was even detained or placed in Fulton County Jail, he always had some type of prescription medication for his
Well,
diagnosis.
not prescription, but he was doing therapy. He has been hospitalized in Charter Peachford as a child.
Are there any court findings relative to his mental status? In other words, have you been to a probate court or something like that?
No.
Is that something she should do?
That is an avenue that you might pursue. If he's got a known history of mental health disorders, they can't really proceed without getting some of those cleared up or at least stabilized. So I don't understand why nobody is doing anything about it. Georgia seems to have an allocation of funding to deal with mental health issues. So there's nothing coming through that. No.
They offered him services that he did agree to when he was in the hospital, but by him being where he's at, he can't follow up with those services. And by him being a victim, they have a victim program for mental health where services are free.
No, he got shot. That's not supposed to be associated with the criminal charges. How did he come to be wounded? If you don't mind talking about it.
I don't know all the details. I think somebody was trying to rob him. I just got a phone call saying that he was shot. When I got to the hospital, he was in the emergency room. They took him up for surgery. And the most part, when I was there at the hospital before they took him in custody, he was sedated because he was spazzing out on them, I guess having a mental episode.
I was going to ask, has anyone been charged in connection with wounding your son?
No, ma'am. I don't think the detectives have
Not
reached.
that's the ma'am. That
I
one
mean,
over
sir,
there.
I'm sorry. No, sir. No, sir. I'm
I'm
so
not
sorry.
in Georgia, so I don't play that. But anyway,
No, sir. I'm so sorry. But no, I don't think the detectives have reached out to him. They did give me a call, but I mean, I don't know any details or anything, so they would have to contact him to talk to him.
so somebody's been shot in the chest, and there's been no further proceedings. Oh, okay, Atlanta. All right. Okay. How about the next lady we have?
Family contends there were so many missteps in Tyrion Ledbetter's case that the Fulton County Jail should be closed. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us from Grady Hospital, where the family is praying for a miracle. Angelique?
Praying for a miracle indeed. This is a family that is truly hurting, and they tell me they have so many questions about what really happened at the Fulton County Jail.
This jail is not fit for a dog to live in. And we've seen you gotten people being ate up by bed bugs inside this jail.
National civil rights activist John C. Barnett told reporters he came to Atlanta to stand with the family of 20-year-old Tyriana Ledbetter. Ledbetter's mother says the 20-year-old is mentally disabled and should not have been in a cell with inmate Shania White. Now she says Tyriana is almost lifeless.
She has been strangled. You can say whatever you want, but it does not justify of seeing how I had to go up in there and watch my baby fight for her life on tubes, also in her head. There are marks all over her body. She's unresponsive. I'm left to put the pieces and find out what has really happened to my daughter and why no one even contacted me.
Ms. Buckner alleges the sheriff's office is not transparent and waited days before contacting her. She blames not only inmate White, but the sheriff's office as well.
They've got somebody that they're charging, but that still does not. It goes all the way down to the staff. It goes down to the people who are in there. Somebody should have seen my daughter under the bed.
Barnett says he plans to contact the GBI, the FBI, FBI, and the Justice Department. The jail is already under a consent decree for past deaths and injuries. Ms. Buckner says Tariana, who attended high school in Conyers, reads on a 6th grade level. Atlanta police booked Ledbetter on armed robbery and other charges. The family says the sheriff appears to be just going through the motions.
He wasn't sincere. He wasn't sorry. He even got smart with my mother in the waiting room over her dead child, sitting in the bed. Sick child.
Now, we reached out to the sheriff to get his reaction to all of this. He sent us a statement that reads in part, Sheriff Labat and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office chaplain spent hours at the hospital with Ledbetter's mother and sister, affording them the opportunity to visit with her on September 30th. He met with them to provide support and information. Ledbetter did not provide any emergency contact information at the time of her intake, so it was not until September 25th that her mother was identified and a contact number was found for her. Now, we will have the entire statement from the sheriff's office on our website. Live from downtown, I'm Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Well, your heart goes out to that family, Angelique, as the jail just seems to be battling one problem after another. Angelique, thanks.
Did I say your name correctly? Wait, let me unmute you. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So introduce yourself and let us know your situation. What is going on with you?
My name is Tasha. I'm the sister of Tariana Ledbetter. The lady they found that was brutally beaten under their cell. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that. Everybody is not familiar with that situation.
Okay. Maybe like a week and a half ago, me and my mama received a call that my sister had been hospitalized with no details or nothing. Maybe like 5 days went by, and we was looking on the news, and Fox 5 had reported that a lady had been brutally beaten and left under the jail bed. We was not aware that was my sister. We got a call back from the sheriff, Pat, whatever his name is.
Labat.
Yeah. We got a call back from him, and he confirmed that it was our sister. He told my mom that he didn't have no contact information to reach her. So we were unaware that she was still in the hospital for about a week. So we didn't see her until about a week later.
So what's her situation right now?
She's still in ICU fighting for her life.
This happened while she was incarcerated in the Fulton County Jail?
Yes, sir. From my knowledge, she had been placed in the cell with the lady for only 24 hours and all this occurred.
Are there any suspects in the matter?
Her name is Shania White, a 27-year-old.
So LA Pink sent me the pictures of, that's your sister, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Your sister. And she too, she also has, your sister did she have a mental health problem as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And they put her in the same cell as somebody else with another mental health problem?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is not proper procedure, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And now your sister is in a coma, and the sheriff, he is denying that any of this happened in Fulton County Jail.
I'm not sure his comments. He won't speak on it. He won't say anything else about it.
And do you have a lawyer?
Yes, we do have a lawyer.
Okay. And the lawyer is filing lawsuits or investigating?
I think his name is John Kenneth Muhammad, and we're working with a civil rights activist as well on this.
Are you including other people in the civil rights possible lawsuit as well, or is just going to be focusing? Because here's my thing, because with your situation, Marquita, and I think it was a couple other people we have interviewed, but with all of these violations going on in Fulton County Jail, right? Um, and nobody isn't doing anything. I think there needs to be, and just you can explain this if I'm, or correct me on this, but I think there needs to be a lawsuit with all of these victims on the lawsuit suing Fulton County Jail, Fulton County itself, Sheriff Labat, and possibly even a DA Fannie Willis. Is that something that could be possible, Judge, for if it's one big massive lawsuit, civil lawsuit, with all of the victims listed on it, filing a complaint?
Sounds like what would happen if the Justice Department got engaged in the matter and they went to federal court. There might be grounds to get the federal court to assume oversight over the operation of the jail, since it seems to be proving so unsafe.
The federal court is already, the feds already have an oversight over the Fulton County, and they're still having all these multiple violations. So,
well, somebody needs to proceed upon them. Perhaps the problem was that the previous U.S. attorney was not too interested in those kind of matters.
right, because so here's the thing, I appreciate you ladies coming on and sharing your story, but this is ongoing. This is nothing new to where what made the news was when the inmate, I think it was last year, he died in a Fulton County jail cell due to bed bugs biting him to death. And there have been other multiple incidents where people died, people were injured, such as your sister be put in a coma because policy and procedure, you are not supposed to put two mental health inmates or patients in the same room with each other. So with all of these multiple violations, federal government is, they created the oversight. I forgot the decree to, I guess, to monitor these violations. But violations are continuing to happening. The sheriff is not saying anything because maybe he don't want to incriminate himself. So what is there for the families of these victims to do? It has to be, and I said this to LA Pink. She was here, but I don't know if she had a connection problem. But I said there has to be some type of massive movement in Atlanta area to whereas not just people who are affected, but just regular citizens coming together, whether it's petitions, email, protests, marching, and lawsuits, something going on, to really push for justice for these victims.
You might, again, contact a new U.S. attorney for your district. You have to find out who he is because it's not the same one you had last year. No. Contact the U.S. Attorney's Office. Advise them that there appears to be an oversight situation with the federal courts involved and that there are some problems that need to be looked into and see what happens. That's all I can tell you right now. You've got legal counsel, so let's see where it goes. I mean, it doesn't appear to be something where no action has been taken, but you both seem to have a grievance that is a type of thing that we have oversight of agencies by the courts to prevent from happening.
And Marquita, you have a lawyer as well. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I have a defense attorney to handle that matter, but I don't have anybody that's handling the his rights as far as him being in jail and not getting his treatment and stuff.
Okay, can you repeat that again? It was a little choppy.
I said he has an attorney, but I don't have an attorney as far as the violation of his human rights.
Okay. So he has an attorney, but he doesn't have an attorney to help with to fight against the human rights violations.
Correct. Like the attorney that he has, he's put in paperwork for his discharge records and stuff. They told him they just keep on telling him they're processing the paperwork. When I called down to the jail to see about his discharge paperwork, they told us that they didn't have a copy of his discharge paperwork. So I don't know if you're just stringing the lawyer along to prolong giving it to him because y'all don't have it or y'all do have it. Like I don't know.
Mhm.
They told me when I like the day I went down there and I talked to Labat, they actually brought him down to let me lay eyes on him to make sure that he was okay. They told me that I needed to do a power of attorney over him. And then they also said that they would give him paperwork where they could what he could sign to give consent for me to be able to get his medical information and stuff from them, but they still have failed to give him that paperwork.
But you have a lawyer who's representing him in the criminal matters, but declines to deal with the civil aspects. That's what you're saying, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, let's do a follow-up, and I really appreciate you ladies coming on, sharing your story. I definitely would like to do a follow-up and have LA Pink on and really like stay on top of it, and the progress of both you two's both of you guys cases, situations. Okay, there she go. So I was saying LA Pink, I want to do a follow up with the ladies, and there was a couple other people too that we had discussed because, if you have attorneys, and Judge, you could correct me on this, if people have attorneys and lawyers already, it's more so it's like a waiting game. You have to allow them to do their job and file whatever grievances or paperwork, correct?
Law and justice grind slowly but thoroughly, or they're supposed to,
Right.
or at least they're supposed to.
So, it seems like changes are not going to happen overnight because changes has not been happening in Fulton County at all. But
Seems like in Fulton County, you've had a national administration that isn't concerned about such things, even though they profess to be. So they let everything ride, and the locals have gotten used to getting a free pass on being tacky, wrong, or evil. And things keep going the way they're going. And when, let's say, somebody like Trump gets in to try and clean it up, he's being an evil dictator, and he becomes the subject to a whole bunch of jokes and recriminations because he's trying to get things done the way they're supposed to get done. Quite interesting.
but we're going to follow up with you ladies to see has there been any progress in Fulton County, because at the same time, if you have you have active cases opening, and if you would like to bring your attorneys or the civil rights activists on, so we could have a more in-depth conversation, we could arrange to make that happen as well. So I really do appreciate you ladies coming on, sharing your stories, and I'm definitely going to follow up with you guys. So anything you want to say in closing?
No, not much, but Fulton County gotta go down. Something's gotta happen. This is getting ridiculous. It's back to back now. It's sickening. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It's something I shouldn't have to deal with. My sister was just okay about 2-3 weeks ago. Now she just sitting in the hospital bed fighting for her life.
Well, your local district attorney, Willis, is more concerned with what was going on in the White House than she is right down the street from where her office is. So what can I say about that? You guys put her in.
Well, with these type of violations, Judge, this is the last question. Shouldn't Fannie Willis be investigating what's going on in Fulton County Jail?
That's what I was just alluding to. But you guys elect her.
So that's her job. That is her job to be investigating these
Yes.
incidents that are happening in the county jail.
There's more than one entity that should be concerned about this. Willis's office ought to be concerned. The feds ought to be concerned. But you had a U.S. attorney until recently who didn't care because their main objective was to get Trump, not to deal with the problems you're having.
Well, I do know the day that I went to the jail and I talked to Labat, the monitor was there. I don't know her name. I do know she was there, and we asked to speak to her, and they told us that we couldn't speak to her. We needed to arrange for an appointment to speak with her, but they couldn't give us a phone number or tell us how to follow up with those steps to try to get in touch with the monitor.
Seems that's par for the course these days. You may appeal, you may ask for, but you never get told how to do it. And if you follow their instructions, you just keep going around in the same circle, getting nowhere.
I think they do that on purpose to
Well, yeah.
just brush people off, delay the process, and try to wear people down so that they won't pursue anything. So
Yeah, but I also think Fulton County Jail don't react on stuff because my son is in the dorm where the officer got stabbed at. He said this boy had been telling them for weeks that he was gonna stab an officer or inmate, and they just brushed it off until it actually happened. So, I think some people have warning signs and they just fail to react on them.
Definitely.
Usually what happens is it's the person who's supposed to be in charge who is at fault because they don't know how to supervise and manage. It's like you go into a restaurant and the service is bad. You can look at the waiters and say, or waitresses and say, oh, they were horrible. But then that's really not their fault. That's management's fault who isn't on top of it. Same thing. Whoever runs that jail is at fault for letting that kind of thing happen in his or her jail that they're supposed to be supervising, managing, and running.
okay, well, thank you, ladies. And like I said, I definitely want to have you guys do a follow up. So I would definitely be in contact with you guys and LA Pink, and we'll set something else up to do a follow up to see it hasn't been any progress. So thank you so much for coming on.
And I wish you the best of fortune in curing the problems that are impacting your kin.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
I'll make some calls and see what's going on. This is bad.
It is bad. I think a lot of times money has to do with it. The community needs to get involved.
But let me put it this way. Ain't everybody supposed to be running anything they feel like running. You have to vet yourself. So the sheriff that's in charge of this has a 3-year experience. Shelf is a deputy jailer. Before that, he was gay male porn star. So that really qualifies you to run the complexities of a jail.
And him and Fanny are two peas in a pod. So that's the person that should be investigating and saying, hey, what is going on here? So it's a lot of corruption, and I don't want to hear nothing about no white supremacy because these are black people who are in position to make Negroes who are in position to make a change, and they're not. And I'm sorry, these people that come up here and share their stories, they're not rich. They're poor, just like me. We're all, you know what I'm saying? So people don't care about the poor, and that's not right at all. And then if you're in prison for whatever, if you're in jail for whatever situation, people are not going to care. And that is a problem. You still have to care because it's corruption is being done on your tax dollars.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, they keep electing these competent, efficient managers of criminal justice and the penal system in Fulton County, Georgia.